Good afternoon, I'm Ghost Williams and welcome to Black Father. Welcome to Black Father. This is episode 10, which is the recap and reunion edition. We basically are just going over everything we went over in season 1. We want to thank you all, also everyone who joined us this season. We had a great time. We brought up some great issues. We will be bringing our first young lady on the Black Father here in the reunion episode. We've got Precious Wayne Peaks, who is an author, a speaker, a teacher, fantastic young lady to get her perspective. But just to recap a little bit, episode 1 was Black Nonsense.
Black Nonsense.
For those of you who don't know, this is take 2. We just had to do this all over.
Yeah, so the folks online.
Right, y'all watching this.
That's right. Just gave us the first piece of Black Nonsense for episode 10. But we gonna roll with it. Technical things happen. Black Nonsense, we basically introduced why we came up with the show, trying to give some of the young fathers answers to some of the issues they may stumble across. We all made a bunch of mistakes in our fatherhood. We still make some mistakes. We try not to make the same ones. So with that being said, I think in Black Nonsense, we just had a great time getting used to the camera.
Yes, we
The
did.
2 of us are not used to the camera. This is a video guy here. He's used to the camera a little bit.
I'm used to the microphone, I ain't used to the camera.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And then right into 2 was fantasy versus reality.
Yeah, that was mine.
So that was kind of social media versus the reality of what your child lives every day. We had some real subjects come in that episode with the taking of firearms. Wiley G brought up the school.
Yeah.
And we kind of dealt with some bullying at the same time.
The bullying part was really huge because it had to be explained, and a lot of fathers need to know how to help their kids.
Right.
You know, versus just sitting back and saying, well, don't let them push you around.
right.
That by itself, I think that was
I
huge.
think most of us as a black father had a rule of they can say what they want,
But look,
Let them put their hands on
they
it.
put their hands on it.
It's a whole
no,
other
that's like an art to be able to do that, man.
Yeah. 'Cause you can't.
I mean, how do you address your a white child calling your kid the N-word? How do you tell them?
I'm still trying to turn
And
the other
that-
cheek. I'm still learning the whole
Right.
turn the other cheek thing. I ain't got that
I'm
far.
just asking because
My whole thing with the turn the other cheek is they better not be there when I turn back around. So I have to be careful. I have to make sure I teach my son.
right. You
Hey
have to
man,
teach
hold
them.
on.
Right.
The old
Breathe a little
premise
bit.
of mind over matter still holds truth, even in any generation that it comes across.
Right.
Because anything you tell yourself that you can do, pretty much you're gonna be able to do it eventually.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you succeed right away, because we done had a bunch of failures. It's okay to fail.
Mhm.
It's just not okay to give yourself an excuse for
Yeah.
failing, which is the word try. Do not say try. I'm trying not to say try.
Don't try. Yeah. So.
Yeah, you gotta just stand
We're
ground.
gonna replace trying with attempt, but
But that's all trying is.
yes, yes.
Trying is
But
only
it's
an
okay to
attempt.
attempt
The
to
greatest
fail.
attempt.
When you
Yeah.
tell yourself I'm gonna try to do something, you're already making an excuse to fail. That's why we need to get rid
I
of
agree with that.
We also had the 3rd episode was Us versus Us. Wiley G
Oh.
was out on business traveling, so Counselor Damon and I attacked that one. We had
What?
Us versus Us, I believe, was a lot of our neighborhoods working against individuals like us that are trying to bring positive change to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It was also the black female and the black male, Us versus Us, at odds with the black woman having to do so much because we are not in our place of leadership. We're not in our place of guidance and direction because many different reasons I won't go into.
Mhm.
We brought up the Willie Lynch.
The Willie Lynch
Yeah,
letters,
Willie Lynch
yeah,
letter.
Jim Crow
And
laws,
the effects.
and the effects.
The effects that's continuing
Yes.
to still be an issue.
I believe one of the something that I learned from you, but not no from Gold. No,
I was leaning back.
I think what stuck with me the most from season 1 was being aware and learning about the Prince of the Air.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Prince of the Air was a good one.
I mean, he's been really showing his face lately,
Yeah.
and he always have.
Right.
Right, and so I think it's just a thing to understand how that works.
Yeah.
For everybody that doesn't know, Ghost, can you kind of explain?
Episode 4 was Tyranny of the Unseen. Prince
Yes.
of the Air really is involved in anything that is electronic, television waves, your phone line. How many times on that episode we said somebody called you, it was an important call,
Right.
you didn't get the call.
You didn't get the call.
You look at their phone, they call. You don't have no missed call. And we say, oh, it's the networks, it's this or that. That's the Prince of the Air, can infiltrate anything that is not done live, and even if it's recorded, he can infiltrate that. And that's actually one of the issues I had with this entire
Yeah.
And you know what I noticed?
side.
You know how people always say texting, you can really have a misunderstanding
Oh, yeah.
because of the tone.
And get
Oh, yeah.
twisted.
See,
Yeah.
I think the Prince of the Air controls the tone of a text. Like you meant it in such a neutral way,
Right.
but by the time it get the way
Yeah.
it's going,
What he said?
you were what saying.
I know.
That's not how I said that.
Right.
So
It's in text messaging.
Yes.
It's in emails.
It's in everything that goes through the air.
Yeah.
Yes.
It can be manipulated by the time it gets to
Can be.
where it's going. Yeah, and
Yes.
it's possible that
take
it will
those
be.
words, man, and
Yeah.
twist it all around so fast.
Yes.
And it looks so horrible fast.
Yes, in that moment. So
That
yeah.
Tyranny of the Unseen.
That was
There
heavy. That was
something
heavy,
serious.
yes.
And Wiley said the Prince of the Air had a spirit that came along with those weapons.
the weapon, yeah, with
Yeah.
guns.
Ooh, that's the truth, because when you got that thing on you, sometimes the jits feel like they untouchable.
Well, it's the
Yeah.
energy that comes with every gun.
There it is.
Every gun has some type of energy that comes with it.
Which is attached to the history of it too.
Well, that too. Well, because the enemy always know that you, and he gonna always try to put you in a position to make you think you gotta use it.
Yeah.
So you be okay when you don't have it, but as soon as you got it, if you're not really mentally grown,
Which, see,
you're always gonna feel like something
me.
is happening where you need to have it, pull it, use it,
Mm.
and nothing really going on.
That's why I don't have one. Cause
Right.
although I'm at peace and I'm in a calm place with who I am, I don't have one because I have that mentality of I know eventually somebody gonna push that button.
Yeah, of
You
course.
don't knowingly have one.
I know.
No, let me just say, you don't knowingly have one.
No.
Because if you call me,
You have one.
you got me. You gonna be right there.
See, that's why.
That's why you don't have one, right?
Yeah. I know my mentality. Oh, well, it's like that, bro. So we gotta be careful.
Right.
We left out of episode 4, Tyranny of the Unseen. We went right into episode 5, which was the mental health episode.
Oh, man, yeah.
That was fantastic. So
Yes,
many
it
different
was.
things came out of that episode, and so
Yeah.
much good information. But we live in a society now where you pretty much cannot have a child and not deal with some type of mental health issue somewhere in there.
Personality disorder.
Him, her,
Yeah.
or their friends, or even yourself.
Yeah.
So that was a fantastic
And then
episode.
they're making, how can I say this and not sound rude? Society is creating so many different
Right,
issues
right.
Mhm.
and saying, "Oh, did you know that they're making video games? People that are addicted to video games a disorder."
What they
What
try
it
to
is?
call the shooting?
They're
say
trying to connect that and say, "Oh, well, this is a disorder." I don't know what they're calling it, but they're saying because they're addicted to playing video games and the mental health side of things. Oh, we're gonna call this blah blah blah.
That's what they said about the kid at Sandy Hook in Connecticut.
Yes.
They tried to put that with him.
Yeah.
Not recognizing that you really had, in my estimation, the infiltration of a real spiritual.
They're
wicked
putting it with
system.
gambling.
Yeah, that part.
They're associating it with gambling.
Yeah,
Gambling,
there's some level of
spin,
addiction.
putting it on
Right.
top.
Some hit you getting or something.
You can get counseling for it.
Well, but something we gotta realize too with the kids, when we were young, you used to be able to have, you had a recess in the morning, you had lunchtime recess, and then you had afternoon recess. They don't have that going on in school like that anymore.
No.
So you know it's gonna be some issues because of that.
There used to be a time when you could take your kids to McDonald's and they can play in the little play area. Now when you go to McDonald's, there's computers everywhere. There's little push things and
Kiosks.
everywhere for kids to play with.
Which is a whole movement, which we'll be getting to. We are going to take our first intermission and come back with Mrs. Precious Wayne Peaks, first young lady on Black Father, and I can't wait.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Anointed for prosperity, bookkeeping, and more. Tax preparation, business and personal. Bookkeeping, payroll. Notary, signing agent, document preparation, business consulting. We have virtual filing. Download our app. For information, call 888-635-0745. info@anointedforprosperity.com.
Black Father, the mini-series. Streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. This mini-series is an attempt to bring more respect, more truth, more love and accountability into the home of the Black family and community. Black Father will help with a multitude of issues. Black Father, streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. Black Father, the mini-series.
All right, here we are. Welcome back to Black Father, episode 10 of our first season. I'd like to just take a moment and welcome Mrs. Precious. How are you today?
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. We're glad to have you. We got Ghost playing the back for this part, this segment of the show.
I'm still over here. You hear my voice?
Yeah, he's still here.
I'm just gonna I'm gonna produce a little bit and push Peaks to the back some. I wanted to ask you, Precious, because we rarely get the perspective of a strong Black woman on the set. It's just us three. We've had a couple guests, but they're always males, and they normally are in the role. What did you think about episode 6, which was preparing to have the talk with your child, when we brought up the different times of when's the right moment to have the talk with your child? And I'm gonna go to Counselor Damon and let him tell you what the first one was. The first one was when to have to talk with them about physical contact.
There's a body chart. You can actually get it online. You can go to Amazon and order an actual body chart sketch to help your children learn their body parts and give them an understanding of what their body parts actually are, because giving them nicknames damages something later if you have to go to court about a situation. So we talked about the importance of them understanding their body parts.
Of course. And so far from watching, I've been in total agreement. Very happy to see Black males taking the front to talk about these types of things, because it's very important to teach your child the proper words versus the pocketbook, etc.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if there's a situation where they end up in court, all of that can be thrown out.
Yeah, because of the terminology.
Yes, it's a lot of people don't know this because they're not taught this. This isn't something that's explained.
Yeah.
So they just think if I tell, nothing's going to happen because nothing happened in this case. They're not told the logistics of why certain things get overlooked or passed on. The other thing that I think has been very important is, as women, we don't know what you guys need. We think we do, but we really don't. So far in society, we've been pushed to the front.
Gotcha.
And once we got there, we got in and felt like that's where we were supposed to be. So we've been taught that independence and being able to carry the weight is what we do. In that process, what happens is nobody stopped and said, hey, be great, but you don't have to stomp him into the ground
Not
to
being
be
great.
great.
To be great
Right.
Yeah.
in the process.
And so for you guys to come forth and explain really helps, because I have a session that I do called Men Hurt Too.
Ooh.
And part of the reason I do it is because we look at you guys as bulletproof. And so because we look at you as bulletproof, we go to large extremes to hurt you. When we decide we're going to hurt you, we're going to say things so foul
Yeah.
that we're going to cut, not just below the belt, we're going to cut your legs off. We're just going for it. And we don't really know that we don't have to do that.
Right.
Willie Lynch does have a huge factor
Yeah.
in this.
Yeah.
Yes.
But because of this and nobody really standing up in the communities, especially like you guys said in the last episode, the Black Church,
Ooh.
these entities that should be teaching us
Right.
how to rebuild
Right.
till we just go all out.
All out.
As women, we're so past the independent point. We're walking around holding our crotch as if we have testicles. At this point, we've lost total value of what our men actually are.
And that comes right into episode 7. We were having a panel about being an active father. When you see so many of our males that are not active fathers, it's normally because they didn't have an active father. So it's so important for the young males to be taught, either by another male or a woman, that being involved in your child's life, no matter how young he is, how many you have, this is one of the biggest things for a black male and his purpose in society. And we've lost that over the generations.
Yes. Yes.
So I was wondering, when you saw that, did that strike anything in your heart, like this is something that needs to be put on a bigger platform?
It most definitely does. I'm a mother of 3 sons, and I can proudly say they're very active in not just their own children, but the nieces and nephews.
That
There's a
part.
strong family bond, but it's because I taught them. All they had was each other. So they're real tight anyway. It wasn't because their father was so active,
Right.
because even now in my new marriage, their stepdad is a lot more active than their dad had been.
Right.
But their dad didn't live in the house.
Gotcha.
So you can see the variance
The
and the
difference.
difference.
Right.
The one thing that I say publicly is I don't believe in child support.
And that leads right into episode 8. We had making a mismatched family whole. So is there something we might have missed on that episode? We were talking about integrating, like you just said, the kids you have, the kids that your new marriage has, all making them one.
Making them one depends on how the kids were raised, if they're going to be open to intermingling.
Right.
If the kids were raised, I hate to say selfishly,
Right.
but where the mentality is kind of
Me.
me, it's not going to intermingle well.
Right.
My children, because it's so many of them, they brought other kids.
Right.
They're a finder, kind of how people find pets, they find other kids.
Okay. I like that.
And
I like
so
that.
they've always been very open. They were open to having new siblings, etc. But all kids aren't like that. Some kids are so lucky just to have their parent.
Right.
They don't want to share
Territorial.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
anyone
Territorial.
else.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, very territorial.
you know.
And that, I think, comes to another point we were making on the last episode, which was the Black Church, which I don't think I made loud enough because we were tiptoeing a little bit. And that is not to let the enemy or spiritual wickedness use what you love against you.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's that situation you just said is an example of it.
Exactly. I agree that it was a softer touch last episode.
It was.
Okay.
I got beat up for it as well.
I am in full support of that episode
Yes.
because I agree. I grew up, I've been in each denomination, and each one, none of them are taking us back to what will rise us up as a black community.
Right,
Everybody's passionate around the plate for the dollar,
right.
but they're not restoring where the dollar comes from. So
Say that again. Say that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're not restoring where the dollar comes from.
exactly,
Because the dollar has to come
From somewhere.
from somewhere.
Right.
exactly.
Right.
So you may go to church and half of the people in the pews are struggling to pay their light bill.
Right,
No one is pouring back into them.
right,
What's being poured out.
This place is hiring.
Right.
Let me help you do your resume.
right.
None of this stuff is part of
The structure
the structure
to
anymore.
rebuild.
And that's something we ran over and didn't touch.
We got into it, but we didn't go
We didn't touch it
in
deep.
depth.
Deep
It was
as
late.
needed because
Yeah.
the black church used to also be a place where all of the businesses kind of intermingled.
Yeah.
And a lot of appointments were made. Oh, well, he's got a business doing that. She's got a business doing this. And now without having the following, because you said there's not a lot of black males in the black church, it's
Yeah.
missing some of that.
But see, there's also a part where we gotta pay attention to who's in your church.
Right
Who's
now,
who has this? Who has that? Who does this? Who
Right.
does
A
that?
directory.
Yeah, I got a brother in my church, and he and his wife. Well, Deacon Luke, Deacon McNeil. He and his wife, McNeil Business Services. They do
roofing.
they do
Everything. Yeah.
Everything.
all type of business stuff.
Right.
If you need what's the paper, a document notarized. They have a notary part.
Right.
They can notarize your paperwork.
Well, this is
You know?
something that used to happen in the black church. There was a lot of financial money passing. In other words, we spent money with each other.
Yeah.
The older generations did. That's how the Black Wall Streets were built.
Yes.
Because all of those people were going to church. And you
Yeah.
best believe most of them were black churches.
Right.
But Precious, from a pastoral background, what did you think about the end of that episode where Deacon Damon and I asked all of the churches to reach out to each other and come together just here in Ocala?
I think that's needed. I think that that's needed. The one thing I noticed in Ocala is that there's no collaboration. It's nothing but competition.
It used to
And
be.
how are we working towards the service of the same Father if we can't even hold a conversation?
Yeah.
The other thing for households, the church has gotten into a place of almost being disrespectful. And what I mean by that is you have women that put the church before the husband. But when you read,
Hold on.
My goodness.
Hold on. You just
Yes, she
listen.
is. Boy.
Listen. Wait a minute.
I better tag somebody. I better tag somebody. I know a man. I know a man.
I know
man. I know a
I know
man.
for a fact what you just did
What
was
you did.
Just hit him in the chest.
Oh my God.
Say it again. Say it again, Precious.
But here's the thing.
it's reality. It's real.
Scripture says the husband is the head. So if the husband says you ain't going this Sunday, you're not supposed to go.
Just like
You're
that.
not
Just like
supposed to
that.
go cook pastor's dinner and husband got to eat ramen noodles. You're
Right.
not supposed to be there every day of the week
Right.
because pastors say if husband says something different.
Right.
And I am a true believer and an ordained minister.
Right.
And when you read for yourself, you see that your husband is the head of the house. The only thing above him is the Most High.
I told a dude the other day. He asked me about how do I pray for my family, and I explained to him the importance of you being the head of your family
Right.
and how God holds us accountable.
Yeah.
Yes.
As men, He holds us accountable. And I explained to him, look, you can't expect your wife's journey to God or with God to be your journey.
Right.
Your wife gets into heaven because of her doing, what you get in because of you.
That's right.
I can't pay your way. You can't pave the way. All you can do is introduce God.
Do you believe in if the husband is loving the wife as Christ loved the church? Do you believe that the two are able to become one?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe that because I live that now.
Yes, sir.
And the reason I say I believe that is because not only is it God's will, it's written. This is in the Bible, Colossians. It's in Colossians. If I'm not mistaken, the 3rd chapter, 11th verse, the 11th through the 19th verse, if I'm not mistaken, where it gives, we always talk about how the woman is supposed to submit to the husband. The woman is supposed to submit. Let her submit, y'all. She's got to submit. But what they don't talk about is how submission is it can't be taken. Submission has to be given.
In love.
Freely.
Given in love.
You got, and what I've learned over time is, in order for it to be given, you got to love, you got to not allow her to feel bitterness in her heart for you. You got to treat her with respect. You got to talk to her like she's somebody, not talk at her, not degrade and belittle her.
Right.
You can't make her feel less than. That creates a woman that wants to submit.
Yeah.
Right.
That I don't say creates a woman. That creates a submitting spirit.
Right.
Correct.
Let's go that direction.
Correct.
It doesn't happen. I can't go in the room and tell my wife, fix me something to eat,
That ain't gonna go over too
and expect,
Anything but PJ.
you know, exactly.
Maybe.
When she come in the room and that plate get thrown across the table, guess what? I'm getting back what I handed out.
So once again, the love is the key, which is
We're gonna keep going with that.
in all of our episodes. It always seems to start with love. Sis, I'm going to let you just think about what it is that you would like to see from us on a whole. I know that you and Jeff, the producer, have your communication and you have the things that you go through. But what do you think is missing? What is it that women want from their males while stepping into the role of leadership?
The one thing I think we want more of is true communication. True communication. Because we
Talk about
get
that.
some communication, but it's not always true communication. The last thing I want to hear is how fine I am or anything about my hair. I don't want to hear none of that. I don't care. You know what I mean? Part of, as women, we know what we see.
Right.
So we've watched our mother go through whatever. We've watched our grandmother go through whatever.
Right.
We go to church and they teach us whatever. And for the most part, what we learn at church is don't give up your stuff unless you're married.
Right.
So a lot of us are only getting married for some stuff.
Right.
Let's be real. We don't really know how to submit. It's not that we're against submitting. A lot of us are willing to submit.
Right.
But we're taught that we have to be so rock hard and so solid till we don't think we should take care of you and submit to you too.
Right.
And a lot of the times the women be tougher than the men.
Yeah.
And so when you're tougher than a man, that actually reverses his whole, like he's no longer, he don't got his claws just totally disappear. You know what I'm saying? When your claws pop out and they long and sharp in the heels,
Yeah.
most guys, because and just hearing you, like, so the thing is, women, I believe, always have to just remember, for most men, because the absence of the father, so there's a certain love that a mother gives her son. And once the mother is out of the nest, the one that he, the significant one, the one that he turned, like that lady
looks
is,
to her to give her
that's
that.
right, to a certain degree, we look for that unconditional love. I want to know you'll never put me on child support. I want to know that if things don't work out between us, you wouldn't take to social media and try to destroy me or
Right.
call my. So we want to know. And then there's levels to when you show us anything other than something that our mother would do to us. I think that's when everything totally changes the dynamic of the relationship.
Yes.
Because it's now I know, because that's not something my mom would do to me, what you just done.
Right.
And I think that's damaging. So,
That brings
But in
up.
all fairness, I learned the hard way because anybody who knows me personally knows I'm going to the wire about them kids.
right.
Okay.
See?
And it's no stopping. And then I got married to Jeff. And we were in some situation that was turning into an altercation. And because I'm so used to protecting, I found myself being told, go sit down somewhere, I got this.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
You know, because I was so used to it. Wasn't that I didn't think he could protect himself.
Right.
It wasn't that I thought I was tougher than him. It was that I had always been the protective one.
Right. Right.
So now you're not gonna talk to my husband like that.
Right.
Because I'm gonna go ahead and give you the business.
Right.
And my husband was like, it's okay, baby. I got this.
Right.
You don't have to protect me. I'm the man. I will always protect
Right.
you.
Right.
And so in this society, in this generation, we've had to protect ourselves for so long till we don't know if you would protect us.
That's the scary part.
Because what happens is when we let our guard down for you to protect us, you're the first one that hurts us. So the first time somebody walked by you with a bigger butt and you go to doing this, now you've took a chop at our self-esteem. The first time somebody with good hair comes by and I have on some weave and you doing this, oh, her hair is so beautiful. Now I'm feeling a sense
Some
of
type of way.
insecurity. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when we let down our guard enough to give you the space to be our comfort and our protection, it's you that hurts us. It's you that came home high or drunk and socked us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's be
Or
real.
Is it
whatever.
safe to say, like we talk about with kids, parents are their children's first line of defense? Is it also safe to say that a husband is the wife's first line of defense?
He should be.
All right.
But they
should-
haven't been used to it because
Yeah.
we've been missing for
Exactly.
so long.
With me, I grew up without that father.
Right. So did I.
I saw a world where it was just one-sided. And like you were saying, we grow up with a missing component.
Right.
Something's gone. Something's not there.
We've got to get this segment wrapped in. Sis, we so enjoy you. We're so thankful for you. We're grateful for you. You are always welcome here. You already know. We have a great admiration for you and your shows. For those who don't know, Precious Swain Pizzas on social media. She has her own show called From the Desk of Precious Swain. She's written books. She has some fantastic insights. So we definitely will be having her back. And we're going to take our second intermission here on Black Father.
Black Father, the miniseries. Streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. This miniseries is an attempt to bring more respect, more truth, more love and accountability into the home of the Black family and community. Black Father will help with a multitude of issues. Black Father, streaming every Sunday at 2 p.m. on Facebook Live. Black Father, the miniseries.
Welcome back to Black Father. This is episode 10, the recap, the reunion. We are all recovering from that gut punch that we were given, but we needed it. We had a great time and some great conversation with Sis, and she was giving some perspective on what some of the women might have been thinking about the issues. I want to say, I've said it through some of the episodes, but I want to know what you all think about it specifically. I'm gonna start with you, Wiley. It is my opinion, my belief, my experience that all of the generations of our ancestors since being over here on this continent, we have not been raised correctly. And when you have men who are not stepping into the leadership role, and you have women that are so strong that they have to protect themselves and the man and the kids, it normally means to me that something's been missing the whole time, whether that's through the Willie Lynch or the Jim Crow laws or the situations of the breeders that were happening when we came. What do you think about the fact that I know my grandfather's grandfather wasn't raised correctly on both sides of my family?
That's a hard one.
To answer your question, and it's not really skipping over it, but I really just believe, honestly, where we're at in time is that each individual right now, we have to just simply, the damage has been done. I think we simply just have to just, wherever we can start, we have to just learn how to trust each other again.
So you saying we take responsibility for just us? It
No
don't matter.
Well, I mean, because we know that it's had its effects. Because the thing is, there's nothing in this very moment stopping us from rewriting it all.
Bingo. Bingo.
We can rewrite from this moment everything over.
That's exactly what I was after right there. He just hit it on the head.
Yeah, we can rewrite it all. And accountability, and not, see, the thing about it is, once I have it in my mind that I'm gonna deal with you, it's your obligation not to make a fool of me, not to do something backhand, like, because we're so skeptical of each other. When the time arises for us to actually do something together, we don't even trust each other enough to allow what's supposed to happen to naturally happen.
And this is why me and bruh pulled out these Notorious shirts.
That's right, yeah.
Just where I can show you the imagery sometimes of what has been put upon us over time has affected all the lineage, all the lines, all the way down.
Forward.
There's stuff I doubt I can do years ago, not knowing that my great grandfather doubted he could do it.
Right.
And a lot of times we don't see that because we don't see enough of us in a positive light on television, in the history books.
Well, we
in the
see
comic
it, but
books.
guess what happens? When we see it, it's always, I had it first and you don't know where to get these from. See, that's the worst thing, that us as black people, we always want it first, and we don't want to tell you where we got it from. We want to be exclusive in everything. We always want it first. We don't care to tell you where we got it from, and we don't want to put you in connection with the man and know, like, I know where to get this stuff from, and I know I can actually give you this information, and I don't have to put my middleman cut on it.
Right.
See, we do that to each other when we really shouldn't. It's only information.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying, when the time comes and it presents ourselves to where we actually can erase some of that stuff, we never do it. We haul the information. We don't want to tell this man that, man, he'll take this number and tell him why they said call you, and you buy it for what I'm getting it for. I ain't finna call this man and place your order, then put my little $100 tax on it when I could have just gave it to you, and it's valuable to you like it is to me.
Right.
So I just think that moving forward, we have to trust each other, and when the time comes for us to actually work and erase that old stigma of, he gonna get over on me if I don't get over on him first.
Yeah.
I can't just give him this information because he gonna make money. He might get the information and sell more of it than I do, and I'm the man that's supposed to be known for this. I just think that we get a chance to really rewrite everything, but we have to learn first and foremost before anything is discussed. We just got to be able to trust each other, and then when that time comes to trust, be trustworthy.
And set it as an example.
And set it as an example.
When I first came to Ocala and we were doing CDs and movies and some other stuff, do you remember how many people we started here?
Yeah.
And this is the whole concept. I knew it was enough money for a bunch of people to make money. I don't care who it is. This is one of the concepts I felt was important. Now, we just happen to use the movies and the CDs because that's what we like.
Right.
But what you're saying is, no matter what it is, if you got a talent or a hookup or something where you know it can benefit somebody, let's share that.
Well, we should never have to worry about, if I feel like I got to be there when the money counted up, because I feel like if I ain't the man in the money, y'all gonna bust my percentage down, or when it's my turn to get what's owed to me, I got to chase you down.
Right.
Like, it has to be high integrity amongst each other.
But don't
like, and you can't, it got to be to the extent where if you got to question it, it's not there.
Right.
So we got to have it through and through. Even the street dude, even the white collar guy,
Right.
the blue collar, like we know when it comes to either one of us, even if we don't know each other, we got to know that he's not gonna do me any kind of way. I can trust that this man gonna follow through with what he said he's gonna do, and he may go beyond what he promised me.
Let me just say, without the way we were brought over here, we would already have that.
Yes,
Jewish
we would.
people
Yes.
already got that.
Yes.
Asian people already got that.
Right.
Mexican people, believe it or not,
Have that.
already got that.
So we're in repair mode right now.
Repair mode.
You know, we're in repair mode. Like, I mean,
we're in repair mode with a lack of trust for each other.
which is kind of, upside down.
And this is another one of the reasons with so many of the episodes we've said that as much as love is the beginning and the key to solving the situation, it is not the only one.
It's not.
The other part, young father, that is the other half of love is truth. You gotta have the truth to balance out the love. Too much of one and not enough of the other, you're gonna be imbalanced. And if you're imbalanced, the answers are not gonna come that fast. Brother, what do you think about how we go forward and get past some of the false teachings we've been given in faith and religion, in raising kids, in education, in finding out our real history? How do we attack these false teachings and these facades that are all over social media, television?
We gotta have an open mind to accept what you're being told. Yeah, true enough, I understand what I was raised up with, but I also understand that there's other information out there that I cannot close my mind off to.
Right.
I can't sit here and act as if there is not something else I need to know.
Right.
Like I said on the last episode, that's one of the things we do. We get upset about what's in history books. We get hot about it. We get hot about it because they don't talk about Black history.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Us as Black people, we get upset.
Right.
About what they teach our kids in history because they act as if it didn't happen. But then we won't go out and get the other information for other issues or other things. For example, religion. We will not go out there and seek it. We're gonna act as if no. We'll watch a movie first. We won't believe that miracles happened.
Right.
Watch this. We won't believe that miracles happen, but we'll watch a movie.
Yes,
We'll watch a movie,
Yeah.
and the movie will show how it could have happened. And be like, you know what? I can see that happening. For real? I can't mention movies, can I?
You can.
You can throw it in there.
But I'm coming to the part where I want to
Right.
go.
All right, here we go. When I watched Noah, and the trees came alive, and this is how Noah's Ark was built. What? So we ain't had no miracle. God didn't just work. The trees were fallen angels. Okay. All right. When I watched the story of Moses, the last one, and they said they used the parting of the water, it was an earthquake. The earthquake happened, and that's how the water parted. What? So we ain't just okay. All right.
We
So what you're doing is
we can't control. We can't. The imagery is all bad.
you're putting us in a position where we
yeah.
got to be able to know what's there versus what they're handing us. So you got to be open to see, read, study. You listen. When it come down to religion, when it come down to your walk with God, you got to seek God for yourself.
Yeah.
Get your Bible, understand your knowledge when it comes down to reading the Word of God. I don't care what religion you are, you need to know what you're reading and then have enough inside yourself to say, you know what, let me track this down somewhere else. People don't understand why there's blah, 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 blah in the Bible, then there's an area in there where it says, for example, more information, look here. Oh, what's this, Joshua? Okay, I don't know what that means, but No, that means go to that page. Go to that part of the Bible and read more up on what this is talking about.
Well, on a whole, I feel like we need to look at every aspect of our lives as Black fathers and as leaders in the community, as husbands, and if there's nothing in history that our kids are taking, we need to supply it. So Black father, there's a lot of things that you can come up with outside of the box. I want to thank these two gentlemen for season 1. It was a blast. I love y'all. You already know. We want to thank Precious Wayne Peaks for coming on with us today. We want to thank the head, Mr. Peaks, Jeff Peaks, for producing. I want to thank my wife Chevy for all she's done and putting up with me through all of this. But we will be back with season 2, and please share, post, subscribe if you're on the YouTube channel, because we haven't started pushing season 1 yet, but we're going to do that a little bit. In season 2, we're going to touch on at least 5 of these topics in more depth. So we love y'all. We want y'all to be successful. We want you to learn, grow, and evolve. From Black fathers, God bless you.
Family is everything, is everything, is everything. It hurts when they leave you behind, leave you behind, leave you behind. That's fact, that's fact, that's fact. Lately, I have been thinking people think I need the man. I need this lane. Constantly thinking about my past is driving me crazy. Many people die, try to save a life. Watch bro die, save him. You got them people that smile in your face, then eat off your plate when they already ate. That's when you separate the real from the fake. Everyone around you eat off your dinner plate. Sorry bro, I can't help you out. Try to help my mom pay the bills. Thought about flipping, but it's just a thrill. Close my eyes, go to sleep and think. God, I know you're watching, but lately I have been thinking people think I need the man. I need this lane. Constantly thinking about my past is driving me crazy. Many people die, try to save a life. Watch bro die, save him, save him. Overnight my life was over like chains. Got so much older, can't change it. It got colder, had some dreams on dad's shoulders. So many times I got screwed over, but it's like they never listen. Try to idolize my game, but it's like I can't win. I want you to picture me, I'm in a room on my bed, looking at the ceiling fan, thinking about my past, why dad left me. At the age of 10, I'm just trying to chase him. Listen, mama, I know you need me, but I'm out here chasing paper. Had to learn, life ain't easy, hope you'll understand it later. Growing up, I always hated people doubting me to be famous. Long nights, higher way to stay up, strictly praying, the devil telling me face it, you'll never